you're in the Hall of Shame.
If you have came to this because you heard the end of our Astronomicon 8 podcast, welcome. If you've come to this because you listened to our Wrestling Hall of Shame podcast, Hall of Shame 2, about the Hines crime family, welcome. Normally, I like to keep things a little positive. Yeah, we've had some podcasts called Things We Hate, but it's usually objectively bad things. We're not one of those podcasts. Yeah. We're not one of those podcasts that's going to sit and, drag WWE, set fire to AEW. Oh, TNA's terrible. We're not one of those. We like wrestling. We know what we like. So we're either going to not watch or not comment what we don't like. That's pretty common. Bobby Fulton is a terrible human being. And all of this stems from last year at Big Time Wrestling put on a show called The Reunion 3. I think it was The Reunion. They do The Reunion, they do The Gathering, all that stuff. If you listened to our Hines Crime Family one, you'll see that Rob Van Dam, Matt Riddle, Kurt Angle, Ultimo Dragon, and Sonny Ono, like all the headliners got pissed off at him because of payments, because of this, because of that. We put that out there, and I don't remember if it was before or after, but they were supposed to be doing another convention, and we were getting press passes to that. And it was going to have Abdullah the Butcher and Kevin Von Erich, two of my white whales, my unicorns, people that I wanted to meet. I love what they've done. Rob Van Dam put his stuff out. Oh, we did our video after, because that's why we did it. And then the convention got canceled. Selfishly, was I upset? Yes, 100%. But then you started to read more about the Rob Van Dam stuff and the Kurt Angle stuff, and then you see the videos people put out, and you're like, "Wow, this guy sucks." Which I'd like to take credit. I said this years ago. He's not as good as he thinks he is. The Fantastics had their time, but they're no Rock and Roll Express. They're no Midnight Express. If you put them in the same conversation, you're a fool. Anyways. Convention gets canceled, and then it's announced that the convention's coming back, and supposedly his son is not a part of it, which to me, if all this stuff came out about his son and him, neither of them would be a part of it. So I reached out, and I was going to get us passes, because I figured, new owners, new runners, whatever you want to call it, it's gonna be better. Or at least, it'll be nice to go and see the difference.
Right.
Let's see if I can find the exact... I reached out, and I asked, again, for passes. Like I said, I expected it to be a separate entity, I guess is what I'm getting at. And the first red flag for me, which I told you about before, is I noticed that on their website, the contact email, was still James Hines. And, to peek behind the curtain, James Hines is Bobby Fulton. Jimmy Hines is what he'll be called, what people call him. What? And I was like, that's a little weird. I'm like, it's still his it's his Big Time Wrestling. Whatever. makes sense. I thought maybe it went to a group email because it is WCPBTW as the Gmail. I'm not doxing anyone. This is common knowledge. This is on their website. But then when you put it in on Google, what a lot of people don't know is if you have a name attached to it, it'll come up with the name. So I sent the email. I asked him, I was, hey, let's see. I said, good morning. This was the email on the website. So we are hoping it is updated. Congratulations on the wonderful news that March 8th will once again host a professional wrestling show in Chillicothe, Ohio. Before all the internet drama, we were in discussion to receive media passes for the event. We're inquiring to see if we'd still be able to receive these. And then I explained who we are, our followers, who we've worked with. If you'd like, we could send some of our content we have produced, which ranges from podcast profiles, etc., etc. I talked about how I've talked about Big Time Wrestling Detroit. And I said, I know March 8th is approaching soon. So please let us know when you can. We'd love to work with Big Time Wrestling again. And please let us know if you'd like any specific content. And this was at February 4th. Oh, February 3rd at 8:45 a.m. February 4th, 11:05. From James Hines. Absolutely not. Matter of fact, you're banned for the defaming and slanderous video you've posted. And then, a couple minutes later, he links our video. And what's funny about this is if you go to the content, or the comments, the comments that are on the video, there's one asking about why Bobby Fulton talks like that, because I referenced how RVD, made fun of him. There's one RVD where he did a like rock and roll devil horns emoji. And then there's one from RICJEKNINGS 8050. You come off like a What?
Who could that be?
Yeah, I have no idea. You come off like a real loser here. Enjoy being sued. And I try to keep the comments pretty fair. And I said sued for quoting people and giving opinions on the matter. Not sure why you'd want to defend this family anyways. It's one of those things I can't confirm. This is my own allegation. I'm pretty sure that was him or his son. Like, why would someone just out of the blue, enjoy being sued? Like, if you read the comments on RVD stuff, nobody's defending the guy.
Nope.
So it's got to be somehow connected. And, Jimmy, if you or your son listen to this or someone tells you about it, I'm not saying it's you. I'm just saying it probably is you. It's a little technicality there. You know a little bit about lying, don't you, pal? Anyway, what makes this all funnier is about a week ago, I noticed one of the people I met at that show was Tommy Rich, Wildfire Tommy Rich, former NWA Heavyweight Champion. I don't know what this was about, but Tommy Rich commented on his Facebook and said, "You tell him, bad business, Bobby." To which James replied, "LOL, you must want to buy a t-shirt. You had your hand out as long as we were dishing it out. You were playing the game, being nice, kissing our ass for another booking, till it was not a good business decision for us to book you again. You are not drawing enough to justify what you're asking for. I thank God you have people looking after you, i.e. Chad and whoever else. God bless, Tommy." And Tommy Rich said, "James Hines, you couldn't draw flies in a factory full of shit. Kissing ass? Such a godly vocabulary way of talking to someone, all the while proclaiming to be a man of the cloth. God bless Reverend Bobby, bad business Fulton. Father Fulton, forgive me for I have sinned. Here's $10. I'll do it again." And this isn't the only funny part I've seen on socials. They did go through with the convention. It didn't have Kevin Von Erich or Abdul the Butcher, because I'll be honest right now, if it did, I would have went. I would have wore a button-up, and underneath my button-up would have been Pro Wrestling Proverbs, and when I took the pictures with Abdullah and Kevin Von Erich, I'll be honest, I would have unbuttoned and had it there, and then tagged the convention. You gonna ban me? But if you look at the images of the wrestling show of the convention, there's not a lot of people in the crowd. And I know, insert AEW joke here, but there's really not a lot of people there. Considering like they still had Mick Foley, they're putting out a whole wrestling show. They had Mark Coleman, former UFC fighter, as a special ref. There's enough of a draw, I thought, to fill a college gym, because at the University of Ohio. But no, poor Mick Foley. I'm assuming it's because he's a good guy. Didn't pull out and cancel, but he was like the only name that didn't. All the others, I mean, there was just Shane Douglas's, but Mick was like the big one. But yeah, you could tell that no one went. So now everyone's questioning if that's the last event, the last hurrah. So it's ironic. You know, we're going to get sued for bad-mouthing a guy that clearly has no allies left, in my opinion. Had such a big head, he inducted himself into the Ohio Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. And again, if he's listening to this and tries to say, oh, someone else inducted me, I highly doubt it, unless it was an off year. I mean, I guess it is Ohio. There's not a lot of great things from there anyway. And Al Snow could only go in so many times. It's just funny that this little, and I said it on our podcast then, this convention that we got press passes to ended up causing all this drama. Ended up making Kurt Angle, one of the nicer guys, irritated. Ended up making Rob Van Dam, one of the nicer and calmer guys, pissed off enough to put out like 3 or 4 videos. Like, how do you mess up this bad? But we got to be involved with it a little bit. Not directly, but kind of just off to the side. But because of that, and because of me wanting to put them in the Wrestling Hall of Shame, and then because I got greedy and wanted more press passes, we're banned. I ruined it for us. We'll never be able to participate at a big-time wrestling show. I can hear your heart breaking.
It did. It's like that scene from The Simpsons where you can pause the TV and see my heart shatter. I don't know what to say. I remember Bobby Fulton at Astronomicon a couple years ago. He was walking around like a lost puppy dog.
Yeah.
He was the Steiner's bitch, essentially, if I remember correctly. Or was it the Godfather? I don't remember. He was being the handler for somebody else.
Of course he was.
Collecting their money, not making any money of his own because nobody wanted to buy any of the stuff. And my cousin, who actually liked him for some reason, when he wanted to buy something from him, we had to hunt him down to stop collecting money for other people and to get paid. So it's kind of tells you everything you know about him right there.
Yeah, everything you need to know.
Always hanging around people bigger than him, trying to maybe rub off, maybe try to catch some scraps from the actual talent around him.
Yeah, getting some Steiner dust, if it was them, getting some Rob Van Dam dust. And it's just funny. No other reason for this content, for this video. Just a little follow-up. Just thought it'd be interesting. And I'm sure, if he hears this or someone in his community hears this, then he's going to say, we doxed him or we released private info, because that's something he likes to do all the time. But nope, just a little follow-up on our Hall of Shame. And hopefully the last time that we have a disagreement with a promoter. But Yeah, I don't think for those that want to go look at the Big Time Wrestling images, I don't know if there'll ever be another Big Time Wrestling show. Could be wrong. It looks like they're trying to get themselves booked at other events. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We won't be there, but if you fans are interested, definitely go take a look. Rob Van Dam won't be there either, or Tommy Rich, or Kurt Angle, or Sonny Ono, or Matt Riddle. Shane Douglas might be, though. Maybe Bobby Fulton, one half of the NWA United States Tag Team Champions.
Prestigious championship there, I should say.
Yeah. Which I'm sure you'll receive some flack from that, because the NWA US Tag Titles, that the people that held that were the workers and blah blah blah, like the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that's always the workers' championships, right.
Yeah. Yep, but
the funny thing about that is, why did he hold it if it's the workers' championship?
Woof. I'm just interested to see if we get another email or if we get a comment on this, but just like I said earlier.
Well, him and his dumbass son are more than welcome to come on here. I'll set up a Zoom call. I'll even pay for the Zoom Premium or whatever it is, so we can go longer than 30 minutes. If you want to come on, and if you want to just give your side of the story, maybe RVD's in the wrong here, and we look like a bunch of idiots right now. But I doubt it. And if you want to come on here and have a chat, the floor is open.
Yeah, like I said,
I won't be rude to you.
Yeah, like I said, not our usual content by any means, but thought it deserved a little bit of follow up. Thought some people might find it a goof or a gaff that we're banned from them. But that's not going to stop our PWP Express. As I said, if you came here from our Astronomicon 8 podcast, welcome. We've got a couple more events lined up for this summer. And if you want to find out about those events or about some great games we're working with, make sure you follow us on our Facebook, our X, our Instagram, our Threads, our TikTok. We got it all.